here celebrating 20 years at King of the Hammers alongside the reigning king from last year, Chaney. Now, Kyle, we are here once again on the lakebed, 20 years King of the Hammers, and you are going for a repeat in the 4400 class. Tell me about what's happened over the last year.
Yeah, I mean, we just came off Dakar, second place at Dakar. It was our first time going over there. It was definitely an experience, but doing that kind of took away from some of my KOH testing, but I feel like we're pretty well seasoned here, so I kind of know what I need to do here. And we've won the UTV race for 4 years in a row, and I lost it last year to Brock, so we're wanting that back this year. And then we're definitely out here to keep the crown in 4400, so we're not gonna let it go easy.
Well, let's talk about Dakar for just a little bit. Obviously, we see the big sand dunes. We see some of the same type of terrain. Is there anything that you've gathered from racing at Dakar that you can bring over here now for either the 4900s or the 4400s?
Yeah, I just think the amount of seat time I got over there is huge. I mean, I probably drove more and just at Dakar than I have probably in the last 2 or 3 years racing every series I've raced. So, we race every day for, anywhere from 7 to 1,000 kilometers a day. So, I got a lot of seat time, just the seat time. And, there's just a lot of stuff over there, different terrain. And, it's definitely different from over here. Some of it looks the same, but, it's definitely different. And, it's definitely a learning curve for sure. But, I think it's all going to translate to, the U.S.
Well, you've been coming for over 5 years, 6 years now, and each time that you've come here, you've podiumed, like you said, 4 consecutive wins in the UTV class, and then you got that one last year in the big Race of Kings. What's your best memory so far, aside from actually, winning the races? Is it being here with their team, seeing the environment, having the fans be right there, or just everything that encompasses what we know as King of the Hammers?
Actually, my best memory was my first year. We were leading the race and we broke like 30 miles in. We had an issue with the cooling fans, and then so I come back to the pit, and then I watched Mitch Guthrie come in and win. I saw like the helicopters following him, everything, and I'm like, I want that to be me, and then from then on, we went to 1-1-1-1-1.
Yeah.
So we've been on the podium since then. And that was, I may have lost that race, but I got to watch him finish, and I was like, that I want that to be me one day. So that was probably my best memory.
It's hot out here, but I'm getting goosebumps from that because I can see what you're saying. You're like, I want to feel those types of feelings, and you've done that in the last few years, and that's helped with great partnerships, and especially like AMSOIL. So when we talk about AMSOIL and we talk about the products out here, it's super hot some days, it's cold, it's rainy, and you've got 2 different vehicles that you're racing. With the partnership with AMSOIL, how does that help you make sure that you can still be that champion?
Yeah, I mean, we start in the morning. Sometimes it's, still freezing here in the mornings, and then by midday, we're still racing in at, 70, 80 degrees, and we're going from desert to, super fast desert where it's really hot, but we're getting good, wind into the radiator where we're going 0 to 5 mile an hour in the rocks, but we're super hard on everything, bouncing off rocks, slipping clutches and everything else, and having a good oil in there is definitely critical for if not just the machine, a mindset.
And I absolutely agree with that, because once you have everything, and I've never raced King of the Hammers. I've actually never raced any real race, but I feel like no amount of prep can prepare you. So once you hit that green flag and you see everything you prepared for is out the window and you're out there. Can you agree with that?
Yeah, so when you pull up to the line, and if you have all the right parts, all the right fluids, everything ready to go, it eases your mind. You show up to the line where you're still, second guessing a part or something on the car, you're probably not going to win. You have to show up to the line, especially a race like Hammers, knowing that everything is 110% ready to go.
Well, let's talk about the Race of Kings, the big one that's happening this weekend. A lot of eyes are on you. You were able to do that in a vehicle that most never seen. It was something that was a one-off that you kind of came together with your team. Now you got a target on your back and everybody's coming back, but we've seen the evolution of the 4400 car. You right here have built the next evolution of it. How does that make you feel?
Yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily the next evolution of the car. We're all drivers out there, so I'm still racing the top drivers in the world. Doesn't matter what car we're in, whether we're in a Bronco on 40s or we're in a Can-Am, we're still racing that guy. And I think a lot of it does come down to the racer. Of course, a lot of it is the machine. If you don't have a well-prepped machine, you're not going to finish. But I think a lot of it is mental. and it's not always the fastest person that wins this race. Usually I don't think it is ever the fastest person that wins this race. So I think it comes down to just being smart, smooth, calculated is more than anything. But yeah, I mean, the Can-Am's awesome. You know, I feel like, you know, we may be more nimble in some of the rock stuff, but those guys kill us in the desert. So like last year we lost 15 minutes in the desert. I feel like we've got a better machine now, and we've worked on our desert pace. So I think we can cut into that some, but I know them guys aren't slowing down either. So, you know, I'm sure they've been out here testing too. So it's going to take a lot to win this race again, but you know, we have what it takes, and you know, I think we're going to give it our best.
I love that. And the thing is, Kyle, it's so crazy. You know, you're this calm guy, but as soon as you put that helmet on, I've been able to watch you in like short course and obviously here in the desert and in the rocks. You're a very methodical person. You know, when I'm personally watching you on the screen, you know, I don't think that you're looking at the rocks that are here, and obviously you got a great co-driver as well, but the rocks here, you're looking at the steps 5, 6, 7, 8, you know, steps ahead, and that it shows your drive style, and I absolutely love that.
Yeah, I mean, you can go out and pre-run the course, and an hour later it'd be changed. So there's, you know, you can go out, and that's why I say, like, you can probably come to this race, not pre-run, you know, as long as you know the course and have a good course map, you know, you can still win this race. It's not about going out there and picking lines, because the lines change, you know, within an hour. There's so many people out there, rocks change, everything moves, and you have to be able to pick lines on the go while you're going, and then, you know, pick it, know you're going to get there, and then think about the next obstacle that's coming, because if not, you're not going to be prepared for that next obstacle when you get to it, and it's all about being set up for that next obstacle. So you know, little angles mean a lot here.
Well, you've done it, Kyle. It's great to chat always with you. Now make sure you guys follow along as Kyle Chaney goes for that back-to-back, and of course regain and get that championship back for the 4900 class.